do it.
Hey, Babu celebrate.
So good. This is my God.
I'm so
Person when not serve you, they miss out.
Okay, the final episode for the final season of Just Us Girls dropped yesterday. Who else is so excited that, in as much as we got the final episode for the fourth season, it's also a wrap. Yeah, we're going to be doing a recap of episode 1 to episode 7. We're going to talk about everything that went down with all the characters. You know how we do it on here. So let's chat. Let's have a conversation in the comment section. What were your boiling points? What were the points you loved? Whose character's resolution did you enjoy more? Whose character's growth did you like more? Let's talk in the comment section. In case you're a return subscriber, I am Ronke Suyi. I review movies, talk about web series and TV shows like this one. So if that's your cup of tea, consider subscribing to the channel, like the video. It really does help a whole lot, more than you think. And yes, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know that, okay, yeah, I saw this series and I liked it, or I'm here to see this series and I'm looking forward to seeing it, things like that. Let's chat in the comment section, okay? I'll be waiting for you. So first things first, the elephant in the room. Okay. Muna and let's not even start with Muna. Let's start with Koi. Koi and our whole mom's drama. Of episode 1 of this fourth season, we saw that Koi had ran off from the wedding venue. She left behind her wedding gown. Her mother was furious. Tomiwa was such an unbelievable situation to him, and Tomiwa was so confident that Coin didn't elope. Even the mom was like, what would get into her? Like, I've had this girl wrapped around my fingers for the longest time. Like, why would she choose a day like this to embarrass me and run away and make a scene? But we saw how that ended, and the mother finding out about Coin, and the whole dirty slap situation, and Coin feeling like a bad person, like, oh, I took these people for granted. I remember I talked about it in my recap of episode 1 that I really didn't care for the mom, I didn't care for Tomiwa. I was just concerned about the families that had to come together for the celebration and all of those things. But like, we all knew that was what she needed to do. But I just wish I'd done it in a more mature way. Call Tomiwa to decide, have a conversation with him. I don't think I want to marry you. Even post him and say, I don't want to marry you just yet. Do you understand? But I get that that probably wouldn't have gone down well, because Tomiwa is quite persuasive and the mom is quite intimidating. So yeah, we saw that even after Coin tries to make up with Tomiwa, she wasn't the wrong. She left him at the altar. She could have said she wasn't going to get married to him, right? We saw that even as she tried to make amends with him, she later realized that he's been cheating all this while. He's a drug addict. Like, his life is crazy, and there's no way their worlds are going to merge into one. And that sort of made her feel at peace with what had happened and how things had gone down between them. We saw how she started, going back to church. She felt like she needed a way, when you just feel like everything around you isn't working, the relationship between her mom and herself wasn't going well. All the girls had like a terrific season 3, not in a great way. So it just felt like the church was the only place she could find solace and some peace and some sort of sense. And we saw that brought her back to the church where she was volunteering, and that brought her into the face of Muna, and she having all that influx of old feelings, old flames, and all of those things. And, she later dropped her residency. She said she didn't want to pursue the career path she's been toying because her mom had dictated that to her. We saw how she went for the Kenya trip with the girls, and she was told that, you're going to come across somebody who's going to have answers to all the questions you've been having all this while. And when she got back to Nigeria, she came across her father, character played by Wale Ojo. And I must say that it was such an the casting for this series is impeccable. Like, Auntie Shafi Bello playing Coin's mom, the way they behave, even their facial expression, their body, their facial expression, their look, they look very much alike. The casting was perfectly done, and Wale playing his father was just the best icing on the cake for it, because he was able to match up to the energy of Dr. Lawson, that's Coin's mom, and at the same time was able to play the role of this very sweet romantic father to his daughter that just wants to spoil his daughter, despite the fact that he hasn't been there for a long time. He wants to make up for the lost years, and he knows how to play that character really well, and he just gelled. I loved the casting for that character. We saw how she tried to amend things with her father, tried to, just merge all the years that's been lost into the one they currently have, and tried to spend more time with him. We saw how he gave her confidence. He was there for her when the mom shut her out of her account, all of those things. And later on, we saw how she made things up with, Muna, their marriage and everything. So now, what do I think about Coin's character? I know at the beginning of the season, I talked about how I don't necessarily want, Muna and Coin to end up together, because, I feel like Muna will be, I felt like Coin, really did the guy dirty. Like she lied to him. Their relationship was based on lies, 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 deceit. So I felt like Muna, being the kind of person that he is, he deserves someone better than that. But I liked how the writing of this series, with regards to those two, made sure to attend to that issue. Like they made sure to establish the fact that okay, she's been lying to this guy. The relationship was built up of lie. She needed to apologize to him. So you being in Christ, you getting, despite the fact that oh, you got an instruction from God that pursue this person, she's the woman for you. That I like that they also made room for, just owning up to your mistake, accountability, asking for forgiveness. I really, really liked that because I feel like for both gender, it will really go a long way. Even if the characters didn't end up together, Muna would not go about carrying a baggage, getting angry, and all of those things. And now speaking about Muna, oof, Ella, oh Lord, Ella, it took Ella 4 seasons to realize her worth. But regardless of how long it took her, I'm glad I wasn't too late for her. I'm just wondering how she would have reacted to the news when she finds out that, Muna and Coin are married and all of those things. She'll be like, I knew it all along. And it made me realize that most times when it feels like, oh, this person you've been with before is having a happy life somewhere, you just feel like, oh, because I'm not with this person doesn't deserve a better life. This person doesn't deserve a good life. Like, that's not how it works. Like, that's not how God works. Thankfully, God is no man, because clearly, look at us looking at Muna and Coin's story, like, oh, we're so in love with them. We're so like happy that they ended up together. That doesn't invalidate how Ella is feeling. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. Like, these two deserve to be happy. Yes, things went down that way for Ella, but that doesn't mean that Ella is a bad person in the picture. But then again, I'm not trying to take all the blame away from Ella. Like, girl knew what she was leading herself into. You were there. It was very clear this guy has a very strong bond for this lady. But she kept pushing, she kept forcing it. Even when Muna was still in a relationship with Coin, she still had her eye on him. So I mean, it took her so long to realize that, but I'm glad she finally did, because it wasn't gonna make sense. She was never going to feel enough. She was never going to feel safe. She was never going to feel seen in that relationship. There was no magic to it. No magic at all. One of things with the character Coin, it was very interesting, yet heartbreaking to see how, things turned out. Where his mom came to the wedding, that's Dr. Lawson came to their wedding, and she had a conversation with the father, and the father tried to help her amend things with Coin because Coin had cut ties with her. And when she apologized to Coin and Coin accepted her apology, I mean, it's still going to take some time for them to get back together like it used to be, or maybe something similar to that. And then she called GTA that, oh, GTA, please take care of her. And GTA is like, oh, please come this way. I'm like, what? I'm like, see what you being a strong-headed person. Oh, you call the shots, you turn the tides, you do this, you do that. Nobody can speak when you're speaking, nobody can stand when you're sitting. Like, she was being attended to like a guest, not just a guest that I invited. It was giving somebody's plus one. Like the way the way Coin handed her over to GT, like, oh, weren't preparing for you to be at this party, weren't preparing for your plus one. So let this person just figure out something to do for you. That was what I was given. And I'm just like, you that your girl is supposed to be the biggest. Invite all your doctor friends, like brag about. I mean, well. She had her own wedding. Let's remember at the ending of episode of season 3, she had her own wedding. So yeah, I think it's balanced. I actually didn't remember that until now. She had her own wedding. I mean, she was present at one of Coin's wedding. So yeah, I mean, I think that balances the scale. But moving on away from Coin, and let's delve right into Ame, because I feel like there isn't a lot to say about Ame, but like there's still actually something to talk about, how to see her go through this process of healing, growth, and change. I loved that they did that with Ame, and I love that they took her time. Even looking at Ame's character from season 1, you could tell that she was carrying so much that she was saying. And people like that are very difficult to deal with in the sense that they don't really open up. But I think with the way Ame's character ended, she's starting to open up. She's learning to open up and actually talk about her feelings and her struggles. And I also liked one thing most importantly that they did about her character. I liked how they focused on her career. Like, yeah, she has this passion for teaching, but like, there's also the catering business there. And it just goes to show you that, every situation we go through, it is for something. It is leading to something. Nothing happens to you by chance. You losing that job, it's not by chance. I mean, everything that happened to Job wasn't by chance. God knew about it. Even the devil took permission from God to go infiltrate Job's life because God knew he wanted to bring out something bigger from that picture. So, Ahmed going through the traumatic experience, Felix, I had been an alcoholic, I had going to therapy, I almost taking a life, all of those things. If she didn't go through all that journey, she would not have arrived at the point where she's now a caterer that is catering to so many clients every other day, making money, and now has a business. And now that gave her the opportunity to even open up to her brother and tell her what exactly happened with her twin sister. Like, it eventually came together. It made sense. So and even you see it in the other characters, and even aside from her, he also influenced lives around her. For example, Jermaine's life. Jermaine said a prayer for the first time in forever when she was at the hospital, where he was like, "Oh God, if you can hear me, heal my sister, save her life." Da, 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 da. I'm like, so when things are going on in our life, we might feel like it's just about us, but sometimes it might be like God actually wants to use the situation to reach out to somebody else, to influence somebody. I mean, you're gonna get a chunk of it, but eventually something is going to like happen for you. And let's hold that thought while I finish up on Ame. I also liked that they didn't try to bring a man up for Ame. I know we got that with Jite and Coin's relationship got solidified, but I like that they didn't bring up a man theme, like a love theme for Ame at the end of this season, because we can all agree that Ame still has a lot of growing to do. She still has a lot of healing to do. And what she went through with Felix, it's a very traumatic experience. She's still trying to, she's like becoming a new person. Like, she's just changing her wardrobe. She's adapting to a new career path. She's doing something that she loves doing on the side. She's juggling these things together. So bringing in the love theme, I feel like it would have been too much for her character. And I like that they knew when to stop with Ame's character. I loved it. So yeah, I told you to hold on the thoughts of how God uses a situation to bring us into other things that are much more bigger than we expect. Jite's character is like a true example of that. Like, imagine a journey from Otumba, getting beaten up by Otumba's wife, ending up at the hospital, losing everything she had worked for. Her brother losing out a whooping amount of money at school. Her sister getting arrested and her getting to a crossroad where she feels like she needs help and she needs to go back to her old ways in order to get this help, this money that she needs, and her finding her way to salvation and her faith getting tested in a way she didn't expect and she felt hopeless in, and Sammy bringing out his ugly head into her life again. Like, when I saw Sammy in that car, I'm like, oh, the writer of this film, una do this one. Una do GTA this one, because why? But I like that they kind of gave us a satisfaction with regards to the current situation of Sammy. Like, oh, okay, you might have all the money, but like, you're pretty much empty, because look at you, you're ready to cheat with somebody who you wronged in the future, with somebody who's pretty much giving you a better life right now. Where will your life not spoil? Where will your life not eventually spoil? Tell me, Sammy. But yeah, and even the way GT was so angry, I could feel her pain. Like, oh, money do this one, you and me as how? Where we go for jam? For where now? But that silent prayer that Hamid said for her when GT was going to meet up with Sammy, because she felt like that was the only option she had. He actually went along. It just goes to remind us that whenever we have like this thought about our friend, whenever they come to mind, or whenever we see something that we feel like we've told them about it constantly, and it feels like, we can't really blame them for the decision they're about to take in this situation, because that's how much their capacity can take. It would really go a long way to just say a prayer for them. It works like magic. Like, look at how, it felt like the scale fell off GT's eyes when Sammy got that call from his wife and he was yapping a lot of gibberish on the phone with her, and he just switched like, oh, nothing was happening, nothing was wrong, and her head just went off like, you've got to be kidding me, man. Azal, what was I thinking? But yeah, and I liked that scenario. I liked that part of our story, because it also goes to show, like I mentioned in my recap of episode 2 or 3, that I like how they really emphasized on the fact that you changing your ways, becoming a born again, especially when you've gone really deep into the world, it's not a magic. It takes time. There are times where you get tempted to fall back into your old ways. There are times where it feels like the old way is the best remedy for you right now. There are times where it feels like you just cannot do this on your own. You have to just go back to your vomit and all of those things. That was how we saw with GT's life. And thankfully, she was able to be rescued before she made any silly decision. And look at how like God turned everything around for her. Like I've thought that you need to meet through Deca. Oh, she swore that she was never going to have anything to do with, was going to be of great help to, her brother and her family at large. And, Coin reconnecting with her father also influenced GT's life in the sense that, the policemen that released her sister, if she never reconnected with her father, they probably would have never gotten an opportunity like that. And like I already said in this video, like sometimes when something happens to us, it's sometimes not just for our benefit. Everything that happened to these girls influenced each other one way or another. Ame's catering business influenced GT. Kanye reconnecting with her father influenced GT. Just interwoven, and it just shows how God is so intentional about us. He's not an haphazard writer. He's very meticulous. He's very intentional. He's very cautious. He knows where to put the plot twist, and you go, whoa. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Wrapping things up on GT's character, I like that eventually, when GT was so happy that she was dancing, I could feel her energy. I could feel her joy. I could relate so much with her because it's such a great feeling to know that everything you worked for, you making sacrifices for individuals that you really didn't choose to sacrifice for them. Like you just made yourself in that situation, and you look at her putting so much money into Tega's education, and all of a sudden it's going down the drain right in front of her. And she's like, God is good. I've done my best. Jesus, take the wheel. And then all of a sudden everything comes building up, getting better. I could understand her joy to see that all of her efforts, all of her struggles and mistakes, her errors, her sacrifices didn't go down the drain. It didn't go wasted. So I could really, really relate to her. And also, when she was having that conversation with Jermaine at the ending of episode year 7, right? And, they were chatting and he was saying, oh, he wants to bring her to Port Harcourt. He will buy her tickets. I'm like, why don't this writer mind, matchmake Jermaine and, they should matchmake Jermaine and this girl together and GT. Sorry, I keep looking at my mic. My mic is really malfunctioning. So I want to be very sure that the light has not gone off and I'm just yapping and there is no sound transmitting into my camera. But yeah, that's by the way. So I was like, why don't they match these two together? They seem to have like a good rapport. They banter well. But then again, I'm just like, I didn't know that they had something else in front. So yeah, this old new guy coming up to her at the wedding, taking her contact. Looks like someone that has a good head on the shoulder. I think he's actually Muna's friend. Yes, Muna's friend. So if he's Muna's friend, I want to assume that he has somewhat similar values to Muna. I know they are different people, but like, so it feels like GT has found herself a good guy. So happy for her. God is good all the time. Like your past is in your past. Jesus has taken care of it. He has paid the dues. He has paid the price. He has given you a new life. Hallelujah, somebody. So yes, leaving the character GT, I feel like it's very important that we talk about Chisom and Larry. Those two had me almost pulling my hair out. Especially Chisom. In fact, Larry as well. Such annoying characters. Such annoying characters. I just think that both of them they're an actual couple in real life. Like they contributed to their marriage potentially getting ruined. And you're seeing this sneaky behavior from this other woman who is coming under the disguise of a very concerning colleague. You call out her bluff. You let your husband know what. She was just going about throwing up accusation, shouting and shouting, shouting and shouting, giving attitude. You see something you're finding funny, call out his bluff. Show him, I saw this. Be very careful. Do this and that. But she'll instead, she'll go and tell Ella. She'll go and tell Ella. And Larry too. It's interesting how some men can just be very oblivious to what's going on. Like you'll be like, you should know, but like really, they just don't know. They don't know. And thankfully, things had not gotten so bad before you realize that. Hold on a second, like woman, you're reaching for the bullets. Like we're not in the same headspace. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong assumption. I'm sorry if I led you on like I love my wife. I can't do this. Peace. Bye. But yeah, I mean, we're grateful that things didn't get so bad with those couple before they eventually found their check. I mean, he led to Larry losing his job because I feel like if they had managed the situation better, that colleague, what's her name? she would not have had an upper hand to the extent of now getting Larry fired and all of those things. But like communication is so key, even if it's the craziest set, even if it's you sound like you're delusional, you're running mad, you're going crazy, you're assuming things, just communicate. Let this person know how you're feeling. I mean, she had a whole exam to do. She failed. I also wasn't there to, pacify her, to comfort her, to encourage her, and all of those things. Like, I was just like, these people, just talk to each other. Talk to each other. Even if it ends up being you people arguing for a long time, but pass your message across to each other. And then when you are done arguing, you can sit in your different private spaces and think about what everybody had said. But yeah. And Chisom now going to harass Coin that leave my brother alone. But then again, we can understand where she's coming from. Like, seeing your brother being vulnerable with somebody, giving their all to this person, and knowing that this person is actually a good person. Like, my brother is a good person with good intentions, with genuine intentions. And then you're just tossing around his heart like a tennis ball. Of course, she wasn't going to like the idea of them coming back together. But I mean, they got married, so she eventually warmed up back to Coin. Let's talk about GT and Ame's ignorance towards the fact that, Ife actually liked Jermaine, and they were like, what? Jermaine? How? And GT was like, hey, small Ife. It actually serves as a wake-up call to a lot of aunties and even uncles to be on the lookout in like the patterns of their teenagers around them. Like, what are they talking about? What do they seem to be putting so much attention to? When this person is around, like, how do they seem to act? How do they seem to behave and all of those things? Just be extra vigilant to those people, because you just never know. You just never know. And there was a scene that got me confused in this episode, the final episode, where Jermaine, after playing with Ife's baby, and I think Ife's dad came with the phone for Ife to speak to her mom on the phone, and Jermaine was just roaming around Ife like a security guard. I'm like, what is this guy on about? Like, is there something he wants to say to her? Maybe he wanted to have a conversation about what had happened and how he probably gave her the wrong notion. I don't know, but like, it just felt like he wanted to say something. I don't know if it was an intentional part of the series or the writing for the series, but I don't know if I was the only one that felt like he wanted to say something. To me, it was like, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that just caught my eyes. So I want to talk about very quickly about the lessons and the things I like. Sorry, I have like a book here. You don't expect me to recap 7 or episodes, like 7 hours plus, and not look at my book, okay? Please cut me some slack. So yeah, I want to talk about what I liked about this season, especially, and the series itself. I will also talk about like lessons very quickly. I know this video is getting too long. I liked, like I already said as well, like I liked that their situations forced them, had them on a chokehold to grow. Like, everybody had to grow. Koyin had to learn to stand up to her mom. Jite had to learn to trust God for every and anything. Ame had to learn to face her fears, speak about her fears, come against her fear, and all of those things. Ife had to learn to, live with her mistakes, live with her errors, and, learn from them. So I like that all of that situation made them grow very well. So I liked that. And I know I mentioned this at the beginning of my recap for episode 1, season 4, that I really want to see them grow a lot. I really want to see the story expand. Like, let's get conclusion with all of the characters. I didn't even know they were going to finish up the series with this season. But yeah, I liked that we got that with the season. I also liked that it was a very clean Christian series. That ending part with the, you may kiss the bride. It was very funny, but I feel like it still worked in the sense that they're probably too shy to share a kiss in front of everybody, the old Christian setting. But then again, we knew that normally, professionally, if they were going to do that, they couldn't do that because it was like a Christian series and these people are technically not married. So, yeah. I liked that it was a clean series. I liked that they came through with fashion. Despite the fact that it was a Christian series, nobody was slacking. Even Ahmed, that was dressing like Amiri Amaka from season 1 to season 4, the middle of season 4 or late season 4, she changed her wardrobe. So, which indicates that, you're a Christian girl, you still need to dress well, look good, look presentable, dress right, dress for your body type, all of those things. So I liked that we got, like, the fashion was good, the location was good. There was something wonky about the sound in this episode that I cannot explain. I don't know if it's my own phone, but like, there was something off about the sound, but thankfully it didn't take away from my experience watching this series. Ultimately, I liked that, most especially this series highlighted the power of the church and, Christian leaders, faith leaders. We saw how, I forgot her name. This woman that was always stepping in to talk to Koin and Moi and Muna whenever when they were trying to reconcile. Even when GT was trying to come back to the church, when Ame was struggling somewhat as well, when Ame newly joined their church as well. Juma, you could tell that, you could tell that she was very present. She was very aware. She didn't push her opinions on her. She allowed them make their decision, but she also chipped in some information and some advice to them. And it just goes to show. Talking about this now, it reminded me of the wives, their pastor and the wives, where in front of the pastor they'll be fighting. What's his name? Harrison will be shouting and running after Dima. He'll be shouting, Pastor, can you see how? Pastor, can you see how? This one was from mad. So different from each other, but yeah, still, it just shows the value of a Christian leader, a faith leader, their purpose. It just shows how important. It's not about them just making sure you're coming to church. They are also very in concern about your personal life decisions you're making, your work with God, your faith, your growth, all of that thing put together. So I really, really liked that. I also liked the theme for the series, which is friendship overall and just faith. I liked the whole analogy with Koin, the relationship between Koin and her father, and our relationship with God, and our relationship with us as the child, as Koin, and the father as Wale Ojo. So yeah, I feel like the series was a huge success. I liked that they knew when to stop. I really appreciated it, and the fact that this season we had every episode running through to 1 hour. I really, really loved that. What do you think about the season? What do you think about the series in its entirety? Do you like they closed off every character's story well? I feel like they did. If you feel like they could have done something better with what character, let me know in the comment section. What was your highlight? And yes, Yamina. Oh my god, Yamina looked so good at the wedding. I'm like, see the way she's dressed like Yayawo. I didn't even know that Yayawo didn't even get the opportunity to be dressed as one. And yes, one final thing. The woman that played the character of Wale Ojo's wife, that played the character of Coin's stepmom. Oh my goodness, that woman is so gorgeous. She's so pretty. Her smile and that red and black outfit on her skin tone. She looks very regal. She looks very rich. She looks like someone that her husband is spoiling her. Someone that her husband pampers her. Someone that her husband loves her. I don't know who else saw it. I don't know if it was very intentional, but like, I know that they were trying to say, oh, Omo, Dr. Lawson, you lost out on this good guy. You lost out on this great man. Like, look at his wife. Look at her. I mean, when she found out that he had a lot of money, her jaw dropped. But like, that woman looked so good. And I was smitten by her already, her appearance. And then she smiled at the wedding. I'm like, oh, take me away. But yeah, she looks really good. Like, the casting really ate. He ate so much. Like they will say, ate and left no crumbs. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say for the series, Just Us Girls. A recap of episode 1 to 7 for the 4th season. Yeah, there will be no season 5, like they already told us. This is the end and the end and the end. I think I'll definitely be seeing the last episode again. I think so. It had a very different feel. I don't know. But like, let's chat in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel if you're yet subscribed. Like this video if you enjoyed. I know I yapped a lot, but like, this is me talking about 7 hours long episodes in under 40 minutes because I can't be so sure that I have not exceeded 30 minutes. But yeah, let's chat in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos, drop recommendations. What are you currently watching? What should I review? All of that good stuff. I'll love to see my next video. But until then, make sure to remain happy because you're with yourself. Bye guys.